Following the unintended side effects of COVID-19 pandemic, Murrow News 8 reporter Allen Leister takes a deep dive into one of college athletics' biggest debates.
For student athletes like WSU women's soccer player Khalees Barton, the discussion around compensation is less about what the university is providing and more about the interests that the athletes are restricted from.
I have no time to have a real full-time job and to make money that way, whereas like there are different, side hobbies and small businesses that I would like to put more time and effort into and like get compensation back for that. But being an NCAA student athlete prevents a lot of us to do certain things like that.
However, for people like NCAA insider Lane Higgins, the notion of compensation could mean that the balance of competition in amateur sports will be severely hindered or broken.
If athletes are allowed to make money, the most talented athletes will go to the schools with the deepest pockets, and that will forever tilt the competitive balance in sports towards the schools that are the wealthiest.
When it comes to college sports, there's no bigger moneymaker than March Madness. In 2019, the NCAA raked in $1.1 billion in revenue, with most of the money coming from the men's basketball tournament in the form of TV rights and ticket sales. The revenue is doled out to conferences and universities, but none of the money goes to the players due to the current NCAA regulations. Although in recent years, some states have enacted laws, such as the Fair Pay-to-Play Act, that allow student athletes to profit from third-party deals, even those new changes have unearthed new discussions related to compensation.
Some of the main questions stem into the realm of how to fairly compensate student athletes. For example, how much should the star point guard for a Big Ten powerhouse receive versus someone who spends the majority of the game on the bench for a Division II or III school? And that's not even discussing metrics for how to produce that in women's sports.
While Barton concedes that the issue of how to fairly compensate student athletes would likely require a set of guidelines, she feels that there are more effective ways to receive pay than from the universities.
I think it should be more representation from ourselves and like our actual name rights and image rights and more external sources and opportunities that come our way.
When asked about her thoughts regarding people saying that a scholarship alone is fair pay, Barton says that while she remains undeniably grateful for the scholarship, there's a false assumption by the audience who think all sports get the same luxuries and benefits.
Soccer doesn't get dinner. We don't get dinner paid for. Only, football, basketball, volleyball, and like tennis and like the head count sports get their dinner paid for.
Sports are defined by the idea of winning at all costs. And as the landscape of college sports continues to change, the question of what those costs are and who they get paid to will remain. In Pullman, I'm Allen Leister, Murrow News 8.